All right, 5 o'clock. We made it, which means, Prater, we're one more hour away here on Idaho Sports Talk from, our opening fall football camp for Boise State. Players reported today, went through some team meetings, found out who were going to be the team captains of the year moving forward, because it all starts tomorrow. One more sleep, as you like to say, sleep. For me, it's another kind of, it's a night before Christmas in the sports world again. We get a million of these, it feels like, a year, and this is kind of one of them. Here we go. Tomorrow we'll be at practice. 9:50? They open the gates, and we're off and running, ready to go to enjoy a very anything but boring football season ahead of Boise State fans, that's for sure.
Lots of storylines with this football season, lots of storylines, lots of hype, lots of excitement. Boise State is a top 10 football team this offseason. They've crushed this offseason. What they can do this regular season, now they have to live up to the hype, the expectations. They got all the tools, they got all the weapons, they got everything in their favor. I can't think of one thing. If Spencer Danielson had a checklist, if I had a checklist for things that I wanted Spencer Danielson to accomplish this offseason, I think he nailed every single one of them. I couldn't think of a thing that – is there anything that he didn't get?
If you were going to say if this offseason was an undefeated offseason for Boise State, and you're going to say, whoa, it's not undefeated. There's a loss or two there. Talon Green leaving?
No.
Okay.
God, no.
Okay.
God, no.
Well, you launched your starting quarterback to the portal.
Yeah, that's okay. That's an advantage.
That happened last year.
Yeah. Bush leaving?
No, because you got Dirk Koetter.
Come on, man. I exactly. I'm not saying this because I believe in him. I'm just trying to come up with any type of scenario. No, I don't know if there was an L that you took this offseason with this program. Pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, all the position groups. The quarterbacks are fine. The running backs are in great shape. The wide receivers are in really good shape. The tight end is the tight end room, whatever. I'm not too worried about that one. The offensive line, I need to see some depth, but the possibilities and the opportunities are there. Same with the defensive line. Linebacker, you got 3 rock stars that are going to work there. I'm good with that. Everybody's healthy. You've got 4 dudes that are limited, and all 4 of them are expected to be fine by the time fall camp ends. So not too worried about the health of this football team. I think they've checked every single box. Of course, they told us yesterday we're stronger, faster, fit, we're everything. The weight staff won the offseason, and this football team is fast and explosive. So check.
Yep.
Everything's done, ball game. We maybe need to find a kick returner.
We're going to open up the Double Tap Pub hotline. If you have thoughts you want to share on kick returner, punt returner, on the Jeanty rules that we'll get to in a second. And if you're bummed out that you just didn't get your hands on those Jason Mraz tickets that maybe would have got you out of the doghouse with the misses, JP has found another pair. So we will raffle those off this hour. We'll ask you to call in, talk Boise State. Once you call in, your name's in the pot. JP will pull a name out. We'll hook somebody up with Mraz tickets this hour, Prater. But first, the Jeanty rules. This was a big thing for us, wasn't it, yesterday? Talked to several coaches about what the plan is for the most important player on this team.
Yeah, and we're going to listen to 3 different coaches, and they all say the same thing in a different way. And we all go back to spring camp. Ashton Jeanty was more cheerleader than football player during spring camp, and he was pretty damn good at it too. I saw him break out his leadership, his personality, his vocal game pretty hard during spring camp. Didn't do a lot of running, didn't do any tackling, certainly was never on the ground. So that part needs to change this fall, and Boise State coaches are going to throw him to the wolves first thing in the morning, and he's going to go off and just practice. And I know that's a little bit nerve-wracking, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the special teams in the return game that may or may not involve Ashton Jeanty. They have plans for Ashton Jeanty. Good thing his body armor is very, very thick. He's going to need it all season long.
Dude, when he was sitting next to us this summer in this studio, speaking of his body armor, Prater, his arms, his gun show, his biceps, honestly, I think I could hit him with a baseball bat in his bicep, and I don't even think it would hurt him. He'd be like, no, that's how much armor this dude's bringing to the table. Now, how tested does that armor need to be before Georgia Southern? Here's Spencer Danielson yesterday talking about the Jeanty rules.
obviously going into fall camp as a running back, the shots on the body, but he needs those. And so he's going to get his work in each day. All the reps he's getting, BJ, are planned out. We're going to get him some scrimmage reps. I right now, BJ, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to look like in that scrimmage from reps, but I know same thing. Made a lot of calls on especially that position at running back, how to keep him safe, keep him healthy for game one. But he also needs to make sure his body is taking hits in fall camp, because that's how your body grows and gets ready for the shots you're going to take game one. So we've got a really good plan for Ashton, a couple of our guys that are returners that have been through a lot of football. But you got to get your work in. He's got to take his shots. He's got to know what it feels like to be tackled to the ground. He's got to know what that feels like. So what exactly that looks like from rep standpoint and how much he's going to get, BJ, we're still working through that, and it's going to be a day-to-day evaluation. But I do know that we're going to be very smart with Ashton, but we're going to make sure he gets his work so he's ready.
There you go. I mean, that's the right combination. Be very smart, limited opportunities here, but just go, and grind, full contact. I can't wait to see him get hit. And I'm sure he kind of feels the same way, and just kind of shake that out. And football players love to get hit. And in fall camp, it's safe. It's a safe environment. It's a protected environment. And it makes all the sense in the world, ball game.
What are your Jeanty rules? Are you right in there with Danielson? Like, yeah, we're going to be smart about this. We're not a couple of stinking McGillicuddy coaches around here. We know what we're doing, but he does need to take a couple bumps and bruises and feel what it's going to be like before the season that he has. Share your thoughts on our Cloverdale Plumbing text line. So there's Spencer Danielson. He wants him to take some shots. Prater and myself, a little later, we went and cornered Dirk Koetter in the Blameyer Center team room. We talked to Dirk Koetter. Dirk Koetter, what are the Jeanty rules?
That's another touchy one. Like Ashton averaged 22 touches a game last year, 18 rushes, 4 catches. Well, could he handle more? Yeah. I mean, would we want him to touch it more? Sure. Can he hold up, and can he hold up for 12 plus games, hopefully plus, right? To carry it a bunch of times, you better train for it. And I'm not talking about running wind sprints. I mean, you train to play football by playing football. So that's a slippery slope, because like we didn't let him get tackled in the spring. That's coaches have been arguing that point forever, and that'll be Spencer's call on how he wants to handle it, and be up to Coach Montgomery and myself to carry out that plan. But if you want the guy to be a stud carrying the ball, then he needs to build to that in practice, especially for those early in the season games when it's hot and it's going to be humid down there at Georgia Southern.
I like that answer. I mean, I think that's exactly the mentality that they need to have, and the exact reason why you guys and we all love Dirk Koetter, because he's been there, done that, and he tells it like it is, and that's the way it should be for Ashton Jeanty. He needs to go out there and train to be beat up, and he's going to be beat up. If he wants 2,000 yards, he's not going to do it on 20 carries. He's going to have to do it on 300 carries, 300 plus carries. I think that's only happened 2 or 3 times in the history of Boise State football. You need to be prepared, and that starts in August.
What do you want the grind to be for Ashton Jeanty in fall camp? Call us, 208-424-9300. Where do you want Ashton Jeanty to be in terms of the kick return or punt return position this year? Punt returner mainly. He's in the mix there. Call us. Let us know where your Jeanty rules are. Prater, there's Dirk Koetter, previously with Spencer Danielson. Now, James Montgomery, who will be going into, God, is this JMO's 3rd year on the gig now? So he's had Ashton Jeanty all 3 years. He's the only running backs coach, I believe, that Ashton Jeanty has worked with, unless he had 1 year with Winston Venables. I think he was there before JMO, but big relationship, great relationship between Coach Montgomery and his star running back, Ashton Jeanty. We caught up with Coach Montgomery yesterday. JMO, what are the Jeanty rules?
Keep him fresh. I mean, we still got to get reps. We still got to scrimmage. We got to do those things. I don't know how live it'll be, but, we still got to keep him fresh, keep his timing right, and then obviously keep developing him as well.
We talked about tackling in fall camp, and you can't just show up on the 31st and tackle for the first time. So there's that fine line. Getting hit, there's also a fine line there.
Obviously, we'll use the GPS and those type of things, but I mean, we don't want to shut him completely down because we're about to play a season. And so we want to get him as much work as we can and make sure that he's still developing and doing the things that he needs to do to get better and have a great season. But we know he doesn't need live tackle, but we need to get him in there. He needs to feel the pads pop. He needs to get his pad level right and do those type of things. But he probably won't be going to the ground this fall camp.
See, now that's the one I found a little bit interesting. After an entire summer, after an entire offseason of meetings, and I'm sure it's just a couple of words, no big deal here. But, J-Mo is a little bit more protective. He's not going to the ground. He doesn't need to have live tackling. Well, that's not what Spencer Danielson and Dirk Koetter just said. That he needs to go to the ground. He needs to get beat up. He needs the live tackling. He needs the rep. But then again, J-Mo's the guy with Ashton Jeanty more than anybody else on this planet for the last 3 years in terms of just getting to be with him, and he's probably just a little bit more protective of his star student, his star running back, and I certainly get that. Somewhere in the middle is the happy combination, the happy medium ball game.
It's not going to be like spring, where they flat out said he's not allowed to be tackled. The greatest compliment a player can ever receive from his coaching staff ever in this sport. You're so good. We just don't want you to play the tackle part of tackle football. We're removing that. So we're worried because we need to keep you. What a compliment that is. But what type of load, if any, do you want Ashton Jeanty to have? Call 208-424-9300. Call us. You put us right in the mix for the Jason Mraz tickets we're going to give away because, Prater, we thought Jason Mraz would be perfect to throw up there for a bunch of dudes who listen to sports radio who might have doghouse issues with that special someone. And what a treat this would be to say, oh, by the way, honey, don't make plans for Saturday night. We're going to see Jason Mraz.
Nice. By the way, Ashton Jeanty 2 years ago, not last year, but in 2022, he had his only return. I don't remember the situation. He had a kick return in 2022, went for 22 yards.
That would have been his freshman year. They had him rotating in there, and I don't remember. Okay. Obviously, he did it in high school. And do you want Ashton Jeanty to be your primary punt returner? Stacy Collins just told us on this show, if he's the best guy, that's how it's going to figure out. 208-424-9300. Let's hear from him, Prater.
Oh, we might have some captains, too. Breaking news with some Boise State football captains.
Who are the Boise State football captains? We'll announce that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Prater in the ball game.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios.